you have done and are still doing to me makes me a warrior, and I'm a fighter for what I stand for, and that's my total freedom. Said I'm a warrior, I am a freedom fighter. I'm gonna fight on for my total freedom. Oh yeah, yeah. I said, wait a minute, is everybody alright? How can everybody be alright? Think about the people starving in Ethiopia. Think about my brothers struggling for power in South Africa. The wicked oppressor keep on trying to keep them under. Tell me, Lord, how long do my people have to suffer? Oh, I'm a warrior. I'm a fighter for what I stand for, and that's my total freedom. Said I'm a warrior, and I'm a fighter. Yes, I know I'm gonna have to fight on for my total freedom. Yeah, oh yeah, alright.
cooperative society. The other one is the Knowledge Tunnel, which is maintained by the Cuba Tabaqui Talpa Regional Corporation. The management of Montserrat Cocoa Farmers Cooperative told us their biggest hindrance and issue is roads and a reliable supply of water. The cooperative, which is presently comprised of 40 farmers, that is cocoa farmers, provides jobs for lots of persons in that community. That's the Grand Cuba, Pepper Village, Flanagan Town, Brasso, etc. Farmers 8 years ago were getting $4.65 TT for a kilogram of wet cocoa. Now, due to the cooperative, they are now getting $11 per kilogram, TT dollars, plus dividends. Yet the government see it not, they are not interested in helping farmers like this cooperative with their roads and regular supply of water. The San Salvador Estate House, a very beautiful entertainment hall, which some of our colleagues loved, which members of public can rent for events such as wedding, and it's only $10,000 for a wedding, in the beautiful cocoa fields in Montserrat, the hills of Montserrat. They also lamented the condition of the roads which fall under the Ministry of Works and a lack of pipe-borne water in that particular area as well. It is so sad to see the neglect of rural communities by this PNN government. But I hear they are trying to correct this PNM rural neglecting by going total country neglect now. So they move from rural development, rural neglect to total country neglect. Because I'm hearing the brothers and sisters on the East-West corridor saying things hard, no jobs, high cost of living affecting them as well. Crime is the order of the day. I want to tell them to come over, as the Rasta man would say, rock and come in the UNC. UNC is all embracing. That is why I'm here, all embracing, with a leader who is very compassionate, humble and caring for those who are lesser fortunate. A leader with a vision on how we can make a better society and a better country. Not like the fellow who, when he's on a political platform, speaks things that have no value to us as a nation. He talks about how a young girl back on him, and he say, That is rum shop talk. That is rum shop talk. We want to hear how you're fixing the roads. Your minister of works, that is, said that 50% of the roads are repaired. Where, Rohan? Where are those roads, that 50% of the roads that was repaired? Councillors, do you know anywhere that road repaired? I don't know. I don't see that nowhere in our area. We want to know how I want the Prime Minister to tell us how you're dealing with crime. Because my Rasta Idrin, who is the Minister of National Security, and know how. I want to know what you're doing to create jobs for young people in this country, not all no girl back on you and thing. I want to know that. You understand? Brothers and sisters, when Kamala Persal-Bissessar was the Prime Minister of this country, she extended open hours of health centers in rural communities. Before her time, the open hours were 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., right? Monday to Friday. We moved it, and that's the way the UNC and Kamala Persal-Bissessar moved that from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on a Saturday and Sunday as well. You know what? As the government came back into office, they reverted to the 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. No Saturday and Sunday in rural communities. Health center don't open around those time again. I want to tell you a story. On Saturday, the 1st of June 2019, a brilliant young man by the name of Amir Ramdani, aged 19 from Tabakit, suffered an asthma attack. Because the health center in Tabakit was closed on Saturdays, as I just mentioned, he died while trying to reach the Cuba Health Facility. He died around 9 a.m. that Saturday morning. I went to that funeral, and the parents of that young, aspiring man was so heartbroken. If only the UNC was in office, that young man would have been alive today because the Tabakit Health Center would have been open that Saturday morning. Would have been open. Keith Rowley and Terence Dial Singh would have to answer for that sometime. If they do it here in Nob, Archbishop, they'll have to do it when they reach that gate. Yeah, they'll have to answer. I know when the UNC returned to office under Kamla Persal Bisasa, we would remedy that situation. We would fix that. My brothers and sisters, the Brasso police station was closed down around 2006 by the then PNN government. I'm telling you about rural neglect here. Speaking about that, I'm a rural person. I'm from a rural community as well. I have passion and a love for rural communities. Right? In 2006, by the then PNN government, due to that was the Brasso police station being closed down because it was dilapidated. They don't only close down Petrotrin and Sugar, and they closed down police station too. That's PNN for you. The officer was housed at the Grand Coulee police station. Not too long after that, we saw a hike in criminal activities in that police district. We had the kidnapping of 9-year-old Nisha Sitaram, the gruesome killing of 14-year-old Rebecca Sogrim. I went to that funeral as well. She left for school and never made it back home. She was found not too far from her home a couple of days after. Then the famous Paramfet killing of a young man by the name of Kenneth Sabero as well. All that was happening while the Brasso police station was closed down. We protested for the rebellion of that police station when people said enough is enough. We walked from Tabaki to the police station, which is about 7 miles, protesting. My then colleague, former councillors, the late Sahade Bondu and Paras Ramuta, walked from Caparo and they met us on the police station site in Brasso. We put on white, we marched, nothing doing. We held candlelight vigils, nothing doing. We prayed, we rang bells, nothing doing. All they killed one another up in Tabaki, they didn't care. Thank God, Kamla Persal Bisasa became Prime Minister in 2010. And in 2013, we had a brand new police station, state of the art, constructed in Brasso. In 2013, brand new. My brothers and sisters, I want to tell you that very shortly will be a time of decision. Very shortly we will be called upon to cast a vote to determine the future of this country and our children and so on. Not for us so much, you know, but for our children and grandchildren. When I hear about things happen in this country, I'll be worried about my grandchildren. Those are the people that I'm concerned about. And we have a decision to make. Make the right decision because we are told politics determines so much in this country. The price of bread, the quality of education, the kind of transport you get for transport, the quality of your health care in your country. Those are the things we'll be making a decision upon. And whether or not they're treating my corporation right by giving me what is necessary to treat with the issues of the people who voted us as councillors in our various electoral districts and to represent them. And we will represent them. Because I love the UNC. We stand for what is right. We stand for the correct thing. So brothers and sisters, I thank you very much. Have a good night. Jah love and blessings all the time.
This is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Cause we want some understand. Put it down, down. Put him away now. Understand. Yo, Mr. Marshall, Benjai, what you say? Don't fake now. This is what Benjamin say. There's too much killing going on.
Our next speaker is a stalwart of the labor movement and former President General of the All Trinidad Sugar and General Workers Trade Union. He served as Minister in the Ministry of Works and Transport, Finance and Economy, and Labor during the Kamla Persaud's administration. Fondly known as Rudy, he is a firebrand in the Parliament. Please welcome to the United National Congress Monday Night Report, the Member of Parliament for Couva South, Mr. Rudranath Indarsin.
Yeah! This is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Cause we want some understand. Put them down. Put them away now. Understand. Yo, Mr. Marshall, Benjai, what you say? Don't fake now.
Thank you very much, my brothers and sisters of the United National Congress, our political leader, former Prime Minister, and the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, all my brothers and sisters of our great party at all of our levels tonight, those of you who are listening on the respective social media platforms and radio and TV Jagriti, could St. Helena tell Trinidad and Tobago that you are fed up with Dr. Keith Rowley and the People's National Movement? Because you see, today we celebrated International Day of Happiness, and for the last 7+ years it has not been happiness, it has been pain, suffering and trauma under Rowley and his incompetent bunch. And today I want to tell you that your party is a party of strength, a party that shall not be moved. And last Saturday, the 18th of March, we celebrated or reflected on the 40th anniversary of Bloody Tuesday in Trinidad and Tobago. And on the 18th of March 1975, the conditions was as similar as what is prevailing in 2023. High unemployment, low wages, poor social and economic conditions. Crime was the order of the day. You had a visionless and clueless Prime Minister then, and in 2023 you have a visionless and clueless Prime Minister. And I want to tell you that the struggles of our party, which started on the 18th of March 1975, resulted in the formation of the United Labour Front and the United National Congress. Your UNC is a party that has always stood on the side of the people, the voiceless, the vulnerable, the poor and the oppressed, your present and past leaders, and the only bulwark that is standing against a rogue Prime Minister and a runaway and dictatorial government is a UNC led by Kamla Persad-Bissessar, my brothers and sisters. And that is why I tell you here tonight that we are not a weak party. We shall not be moved. We shall not be bullied. And we will stand our ground, whether it is in the parliament or throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago. You must never forget that it was the UNC under Kamla Persad-Bissessar which created 56,000 jobs for the people of this country, settled 135 negotiations and found money to pay $5 billion in back pay. It was the UNC that created the dollar for dollar program, expanded gate. We built the Piaco Airport. We built the Couva Children's Hospital. We created the Children Life Fund. We created the Equal Opportunities Commission. And we created the Judicial Review Act, a groundbreaking piece of legislation that always provides an opportunity for the poor, the oppressed, and the vulnerable in Trinidad and Tobago. And that is why I will tell you here tonight that we will not be moved, we will not be bullied, and we will stand firm against Dr. Rowley and his runaway rogue government. Tonight, I want to take the opportunity here to reiterate what my colleague Barry Padarat, the Member of Parliament for Princestown, and all of the UNC rank and file, and the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we have been carrying out a crusade and a battle on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and I want to tell you that the Regulated Industries Commission is carrying out the agenda of the PNM government. The proposed rate increases as it relates to TNTech will not be shelved. The ongoing consultations are indeed a farce. I reiterate, the ongoing consultations are indeed a farce, and there is no plan to reconsider or review the recommendations of the RIC to increase the rates for residential and commercial customers. Because we in the UNC, we are calling on the RIC commissioners to tell the country what is their plan B, because plan A has been overwhelmingly and unanimously rejected throughout the length and breadth of this country. And if it has been unanimously rejected, what is the plan B for the poor people, the overburdened, the poor and vulnerable people of this country who cannot put food on the table and who are facing what we would call a runaway rate of inflation under Rowley and his incompetent bunch? And then they will want to tell you, and I want to deal with the issue of whether the RIC is really independent. Dawn Calendar, the executive chairperson of the RIC, and a fella called Glenn Khan, the executive director, they want you to believe that the RIC is independent. The RIC don't take no political instructions. They have no relationship with anybody in the PNM. They want to tell me, as the Member of Parliament for Couva South with over 35,000 persons on the electorate, I have no role to agitate on behalf of the constituents of Couva South. They want me to put my tail between my leg and do not speak on behalf of the poor people in Windsor Park and Basta Hall and Calcutta, number 1, 2, and 3, and I could go on and on tonight. But I want you to understand what the UNC is fighting, what we are against, my brothers and sisters, because in this country, everybody does know Anil, who is a UNC financier, who is a UNC member, who have ties with the UNC, but we don't know who is independent. We don't know who is closet PNM, because everybody just tell you in this country that they're independent. They have no ties with the PNM. But I want to ask Dawn Calendar tonight, and could we put up that photograph on the screen here tonight, my brothers and sisters? Dawn Calendar, if you were so independent as you are telling the country, and look the photograph here tonight, Dawn Calendar standing next to the chairman of the Airports Authority in 2018, One Key Thomas. She accepting very gleefully and displaying her instrument of appointment as a member of the board of the Airports Authority under Rohan Sinanan, the Minister of Works and Transport. And appointed by the cabinet, appointed by the Prime Minister, by the PNM. Dawn Calendar, is that you, or you have a twin sister with the same looks and your same name? That is what I want to know. And in addition, Dawn Calendar, you moved from the Airports Authority to the Fair Trading Commission, to the RIC, and you want to tell me that you apolitical, you are independent, and you will take no questions from any sitting politician. Are you taking instruction from Keith Rowley and Marvin Gonzalez? That is what you must answer here tonight. Because you can't move from the Airports Authority. You cannot be appointed as a member of the board because they like you in the PNM. Who put you on the board? The fairy tooth godmother just wake up a morning and recommend you for appointment to the board of the Airport Authority. Rohan Sinanan was the national campaign manager of the PNM. So therefore, I am calling upon you to state whether you are a card-bearing member of the People's National Movement, and if indeed you are so, you must resign from the RIC. And then they have in that same picture a fella by the name of Earl Wilson. Earl Wilson is also a commissioner of the Regulated Industries Commission. So this seems to be a PNM party group which was at the Airports Authority and now is a PNM party group at the Regulated Industries Commission. And that is why we are saying we shall not be moved, we shall not be bullied, and we as the UNC, we will stand firm on behalf of the poor and the oppressed in this country, my brothers and sisters. And then you have, I want to deal with a fella. I thought Hines was the most incompetent minister in the PNM government. But you know, Marvin Gonzalez giving that fella a run for his money. Marvin Gonzalez, who is supposed to be the Minister of Public Utilities. I want to christen Marvin Gonzalez here tonight as the Minister of Uselessness as it relates to Trinidad and Tobago. That is the title we must give him, because I want you to listen to Marvin Gonzalez in December of 2022. Marvin Gonzalez addressed the media and insisted to the national community that consultations must be widespread before any decision to increase rates is adopted. He said, and I quote, "I will recognize that they will be engaging in public consultations, and my encouragement to them is to make sure that those consultations are held far and wide before the finalization of the rates, and consequently a recommendation to the government." Where is the widespread consultation? You came to central Trinidad and attempted to lump Couva North, Couva South, Caroni Central, Chaguanas West, Caroni East, Chaguanas East, Tabaquite into one consultation, and do not fall for their propaganda. I was there, Barry Padarat was there, we were leading the charge, and when I went to the microphone, taking into consideration that the Couva South constituents did not have a voice, to begin with, Glenn Khan, the executive director, insulted the constituents of Central Trinidad, of all these constituencies, by attempting to be provocative, by attempting to say we had no place inside here because it was an imported crowd. This was an RIC that was disconnected from the geography of Central Trinidad and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And then when I attempted to get from the executive chairperson, PNM, Dawn Calendar, you know what she said to me when I wanted, or I demanded to know, when will a consultation be taking place in the constituency of Couva South, and whether they will put in writing that 68% of the persons or the residential customers' bill will only increase by $1.44 based on the introductory remarks of the provocative and arrogant Glencan. I wanted answers. I wanted a committal from the RIC, and the consultation was abandoned by Dawn Calendar. Nobody stormed the stage. We attempted to get from Dawn Calendar a committal and a commitment when the consultations would go on, or whether she was prepared to ensure that consultations will take place in every constituency. The important thing, the difference between the PNM and the UNC is that the PNM, do you not all find it strange that not one member of the PNM, one member of parliament, has spoken out against the rate increases? The PNM MPs are sanctioning the punishment and the impoverishment of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. They are supporting higher electricity rates, soon to come higher electricity rates. They are supporting the imposition of the property tax in Trinidad and Tobago, and it is your UNC MPs under Kamla Persad-Bissessar that is standing between the PNM and a runaway government of Trinidad and Tobago. And then you have useless Gonzalez attempting to tell us about conduct and the way that we behave in the UNC. That fella is the biggest hypocrite, because I want him to look very closely in the mirror and look within his party. And when a prime minister could describe one of his parliamentary colleagues as little dirty mouth, this piece of nothingness, this lice-covered and flea-laden individual, that is disgraceful conduct on the part of your Prime Minister and your political leader, Marvin Gonzalez. When your Prime Minister and political leader referred to women as needing or needs to be groomed, and they are like golf courses, that is disgraceful, Marvin Gonzalez. Well, I am going there. I don't know. I am going there. Anil Roberts, you know me, I no court closed. But if you say so, tongue say so. Apparently tongue say Marvin Gonzalez. I don't know what. But imagine the Prime Minister also turned his back on the victims of domestic violence by victim shaming those women, saying that he was not in their bedroom and not as it relates to their choice of men. And then imagine a Prime Minister going on a political platform and talking about putting things where the monkeys that put their nuts. That is disgraceful, Marvin Gonzalez, and that is what you have in the PNM, and that is why we will reject your disgraceful conduct. Marvin Gonzalez, you have a responsibility also to tell us. They have already admitted that the electricity rates will indeed create hardship on the poor and the vulnerable. They have said a utility card to help with higher rates. Marvin Gonzalez, the United National Congress wants to know what is the criteria, whether this will be used for the creation of another slush fund to buy votes in the upcoming general and local government elections whenever they are called, my brothers and sisters. So tonight, there are a number of unanswered questions on behalf of the poor and the vulnerable people. And we in the United National Congress, on behalf of our political leader, will tell you here tonight, just as the late great Bob Marley said, get up, stand up for your rights. My brothers and sisters, don't give up the fight. Under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, long live you, the people of the United National Congress and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you.
This is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Cause we want some understand. Put them down. Put them away now. Understand.
Thank you, MP Indar Singh, for shedding light on the socio-economic realities and challenges of our citizenry. You also reminded us of the deliveries of the UNC-led government and exposed the sheer incompetence of this PNM regime. Our next speaker needs no introduction. This vibrant young woman has practically grown in the UNC. She began her vocation in national service in 2003 as one of the youngest councillors ever elected. She is bright, articulate, and fearless. She currently serves as the deputy chairman of the UNC executive. Please help me welcome to the UNC's Monday Night Report the Member of Parliament for St. Augustine, the Honorable Miss Khadija Amin.
Yeah, this is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Cause we want some understand. Put them down. Put them away now. Understand. Yo, Mr. Marshall, Benjai.
My UNC family, all are looking good. We are moving away from virtual and we are back on the road. And we are back on the road to victory for the next election in Trinidad and Tobago. If you are ready for victory, let me hear you tonight. My political leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, is the best Prime Minister Trinidad and Tobago ever had. My colleagues, fellow MPs, councillors, my UNC family, I want to recognize Archbishop Barbara Burke, a woman who has stood and fought for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. A woman who, under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, had a school, St. Barbara's School, built. That school, yes, that deserves a round of applause because the PNM never built a school for the Baptists in this country. That St. Barbara's School falls within the constituency of St. Augustine. And because of that, I keep close with the church and the members there. And last, we have the Baptist, the Spiritual Shouter Baptist Holiday Fast approaching. Last year, they didn't get money until the month of May, and they get a little pittance. This year, the Baptists are yet to get monies for the Baptist celebration. And so I take this opportunity to call on the government, to call on Prime Minister Rowley to give the Baptist community their monies before the Baptist celebration on the 30th of March. My friends, on Wednesday in Parliament, we will debate the EBC report, the 10th report of the Election and Boundaries Commission. What is this report? This report is required, the EBC is required to submit a report to the Parliament not less than 2 but more than 3 years from the date of submission of the last report. This report is important because it will set out the boundaries for the seats for the local elections within each regional corporation. So if they have to change a boundary, it must come in that report and it must come by the date required by law. The EBC will define and review the boundaries of each electoral district in that report. They will send that report to the minister, and then it goes to cabinet, and then it goes to Parliament. The last report that was due, we ain't seen no report. Then they send a letter, they say, well, COVID, they ask for a 1-year deferral. Okay, they are allowed to do that under law. When we didn't see the report come, we start to ask questions. No answers from the EBC. No answers from President Paula May Weeks. No answers from the Minister of Local Government. No answers from the PNM. It wasn't until Kamla Persad-Bissessar threatened to take legal action that the government hurry up and bring the report to Parliament. They told us there was an administrative error. It disappeared. But we know the PNM. The PNM has a history of postponing elections in this country. Every time they have the opportunity. There was an election due in 2006, I'm going way back. I became a councillor in 2003. There was supposed to be an election in 2006. The PNM, under Manning, postponed that election to 2007, then to 2008, then to 2009. And it wasn't until Kamla Persad-Bissessar became Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago that local government elections were called. And there was a whitewash. The UNC won hands down in that election. And it wasn't only under Manning. Under Rowley administration, the same kind of interference has been taking place. I wonder if all you remember when it had a by-election in Barataria and Belmont. Remember when Sharon won that election in Barataria? When the UNC beat the PNM going and coming? We had to threaten legal action because the sitting councillor died and they're going about like nobody's business and people were without representation. Recently again in Penal, where Kimraj won and ran and won, the UNC had to threaten legal action for the government to call the local elections that were due. So the UNC have a right to ask, why is the EBC report being hidden? Why is the EBC report not coming to Parliament? And at that time, we asked on the Monday night meeting, we asked in Parliament, and they get on like if we're making trouble for nothing. The same thing they're doing with the RIC consultations, as Rudy just explained. We asked, why would the PNM hide the report? We said it was either pure incompetence. They just don't know the work. They're just messing up all around. We said it might be lack of interest. They don't care for local government. They don't care for councillors. They don't care for the burgesses who live within the area who want to vote. We said that it might be to suppress democracy. Again, it took the political leader of the UNC on a Monday night forum, which was virtual at the time, threatening legal action on a Monday night. And you know, by Wednesday, supplemental order paper, suddenly it magically reappeared. So today we have the answer. We know why the EBC report was being hidden. Because they had planned to postpone the local government election. They had no intention of debating the boundaries. Elections was due at the end of last year, December 2022, because the last one was in 2019. And they had already planned to postpone the election. So when Alwari come with his hogwash, when he come with all this fancy explanation to tell you why they are postponing the election, I want you to know it is because they are afraid to face the electorate, because they know they will get blows going and coming anytime they call an election. The EBC is supposed to be an independent body. Today, Christine Kangaloo was sworn in as President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The President of our country has as part of their duty to appoint independent bodies, including the EBC. Today, I call on Madam President Christine Kangaloo to ensure that the EBC and other independent bodies in this country do not become puppets of the PNM and the government. It is not far-fetched to ask for that, because we are seeing what is happening with the DPP. We are seeing what has been happening with the police. This government has been abusing their power and pressing the DPP because they depend on taxpayers' dollars. I want to tell you, Mr. Rowley, That is not your money. That is taxpayers' money. That is the money belonging to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So don't use it to pull anybody's strings and make puppets out of our independent bodies. The EBC, the DPP, the Integrity Commission, the Police Service Commission, all these independent bodies must remain independent. And the former PNM minister, who is now president of this country, has a duty to ensure that the PNM does not interfere with these. And the UNC will remain vigilant on behalf of the people of this country to ensure that that does not happen. We will not let you get a free pass, Madam President. Now, I digress a little bit, but I'm talking about local government. I was telling you that the PNM only knows local government when an election is due. That's the only time they care about councillors and things, you know. That is when you see them rushing to pave roads. Last time they get licks in Sandy Grande, but they were busy paving over mud. Today, I think it was Councillor Ryan Rampasad, sent a video of roads being paved, mud they're paving over, because they are rushing to pretend like they're doing work. All the time, regional corporations get no money to pave roads. But last year, during the mid-year review in Parliament, where they revised the budget and so on, the government came with a big announcement. They announced that they were giving $100 million to a special purpose company to pave roads. Mind you, at that time, the special purpose company wasn't even registered yet. We don't know who the directors are. We don't know which PNM friend and family going to be put there to carry out the PNM dictates. But they give it $100 million. We say, all right. 6 months later in the budget, the last budget of September 2022, the government come back again and they announce that they're giving a next $100 million, taxpayers' dollars, to this same special purpose company. Mind you, they ain't pave a road yet, but they get more money. So they're up to $200 million now. From September, when that budget was read, to today, not a single road has been paved under that special purpose company. Not a single one. You know what they do? You know what's the latest development? They move it from under local government to put it where? Under Rohan Sinanan in Ministry of Works. So Faris Alwari, well, I am not complaining on Faris' behalf, you know, because he was the most incompetent Attorney General. He's now the most incompetent Minister of Local Government. He can't pave road, he can't pave pothole. I told him already, pocket squares don't fix potholes. Regional corporations have been collapsing under Alwari. So he has not performed. They take away the $200 million and they put it under Rohan Sinanan. So I want to ask now if that is going towards the Balize House slush fund. Are the companies who will get contracts going to be required to give kickbacks to complete Balize House as other contractors have been forced to do? Are the contractors who will get contracts under this special purpose company going to give kickbacks to the PNM for the upcoming local government election campaign? Are these kickbacks going to enrich the big boys and the ministers and the friends, families and financiers? The PNM must answer. But I want to tell you, while the PNM, friends, family and financiers are fattening their pockets, citizens are suffering. You know, in December recently, 3 months ago, we had devastating floods. St. Augustine constituency, right here in Caroni East, St. Helena, Kelly Village. People were submerged in flood. I saw a media report from the Public Administrations and Appropriations Committee in Parliament, where they said that out of the 5,450 flood flood relief applications made in 2022, guess how many checks were made out thus far? Only 1,222 out of the 5,454. You're talking about 22.4% of the people who were devastated by flooding. 3 months now, and they only now get a check. What about the rest? When will the rest of flood victims get their compensation? When it comes to flood victims, you have 3 categories. You have people who get a phone call from the ministry and they collect their money. Some people got as little as $2,500. You can't even buy a stove with that. You can't buy a washing machine with that. And these people lost every single thing. You have people who got a phone call but no checks. So they tell them, you're in the system, we come in here, wait. In other words, keep quiet, don't make no noise. We come in soon. This is a movie, we come in soon. Then you have people who get a single phone call, they didn't hear no word. But when we inquire on their behalf, or when they go to the ministry, they cannot find their name. These people are being told that they were kicked off the system. And so I am calling on the Minister of Social Welfare to tell the nation and the flood victims when they will get their compensation. And I call on you to do it soon. The PNM is going to face a local government election just now. They have made no improvements in local government. They are mashing up local government. It was Kamla Prasad Bisesa who empowered councillors, empowered by, when she was Prime Minister, by giving them offices, vehicles, secretaries to serve the people in their electoral districts better. It was under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, win, lose or draw, elections were called on time. The PNM continues to suppress democracy. Local government elections is coming, and Trinidad and Tobago, we must show our disgust to the PNM. We must vote against the potholes. We must vote against the increased electricity. We must vote against PNM financiers fattening their pockets. We must vote against high food prices. We must vote out the PNM. I am Khadija Amin. I am UNC, and I am proud. Onward to victory.
This is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Cause we want some understand. Put them down. Put them away now. Understand. Yo, Mr. Marshall, Benji.
Thank you, MP Amin. And yes, we have to vote out the PNM. And we must be in agreement that the PNM is like the new magician in this country. Files only going missing and reappearing. Thank you, Ms. Amin, for enlightening the people of the achievements and the better way of life under the UNC. Our next speaker served Caroni East diligently as the Caroni East constituency treasurer, secretary, and chairman. Our next speaker was elected Member of Parliament in the 2020 general election. Since then, he is very much loved in the constituency. He has played an instrumental role in our party's medical clinics, helping hundreds of patients throughout Trinidad. Dr. Sitcharan, along with his councillors, maintain a people-centric approach to representation in and out of the parliament. Please give a warm welcome to one of the opposition's Shadow Minister of Health and Member of Parliament for Caroni East, Dr. Richard Sitcharan.
Yeah, this is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Cause we want some understand. Put them down. Put them away now. Understand. Yo, Mr. Marshall, Benji, what you say?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the UNC Fortress of Caroni East. A warm Caroni East welcome to my political leader and the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Senior Counsel. My colleagues at the head table, fellow members of Parliament and senators, local government representatives, members of the National Executive, the Caroni East Executive, activists, foot soldiers, and those viewing home and abroad, we are the St. Helena Hindu School and it is packed to capacity. My friends, it has been a while since we have met like this, and it is a great feeling to be able to see and greet you all. Please allow me to extend greetings to my Hindu brothers and sisters. May you have a holy and auspicious Karawas. To all in the Christian community, may this Lent be a period of solemn prayer and reflection. I would also like to wish my Islamic friends a holy month of Ramadan. May this time be of purity and gratitude towards Allah. And to the spiritual Shouter Baptists, as Liberation Day approaches, I wish you continued triumph and happiness. Brothers and sisters, I have one more greeting to extend, and that is to the Queen of Chutney, 9-year-old Caitlin Sultan, who is a student at the Warrenville TIA Primary School. Caitlin has placed 5th overall in the Chutney Soca Monarch, a stupendous achievement for one of such a young age. On behalf of the constituency of Caranese, I would like to congratulate her and her parents. Let's give Caitlin a warm round of applause. Caitlin sang a fitting song titled, Tell Them Already. And we here in Caranese are also ready to take back this country and return Kamala Persad-Bissessar to the office of Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. My friends, the Rowley administration has been guilty of many things. One of them is they locked citizens out of this country during the pandemic, and then they justified their incompetence by awarding the failed health team our country's highest honors. Truth be told, Trinidad and Tobago has the 5th highest death rate per capita from COVID-19.
The vocalist is here.
It's a blast from the past.
Our politics.
The Indian anthem is here. Nazare apni masiya taal ke chole sitare apni roshni taal ke chole hare kisham chal chuki ना जाने तुम कब ना जाने
our most beloved political leader and the best prime minister this country has ever had. Leader, this is Caitlin and Kaylee. Sultan and Caitlin has placed 5th in the Chutney Soca Monarch. I said that before you reach. So my friends, truth be told, Trinidad and Tobago has the 5th highest death rate per capita from COVID-19 in the Western Hemisphere, and the 23rd highest death rate from COVID-19 in the world. 172 countries saved a higher percentage of their citizens than us. There were many policy errors of our public health response in the pandemic. Many policies were perceived to target a specific portion of the population. In the end, Rowley and Dayal Singh failed to protect the most vulnerable citizens from COVID-19. And this was despite a heroic effort made by our healthcare workers. Karani salutes you all. Now that the pandemic is on the decline, Minister Dayal Singh should stop disrespecting our nurses. President of the Trinidad and Tobago Registered Nurses Association, Edie Stewart, is on record of saying that nurses are currently working on 2013 salaries. And because of this, many have no choice but to seek employment abroad. We are losing our best nurses to the US and the UK because they are unable to support their families. Billions were spent to build hospitals that our nurses have no passion to work in and preferring to migrate there with their entire families to a foreign country, where the pay is better and the working conditions are more humane than in our public healthcare institutions. Another complaint nurses have made is that Minister Dayal Singh has paid no attention to raising the standard of nursing education. They have heard only talk from those in authority in getting all nursing degrees registered with the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago. Nurses are unable to specialize in advanced clinical applications in nursing and unable to qualify for higher paying jobs. Currently, nurses' salaries are among the lowest in the public service. Many young nurses are not seeing a financially viable future in our nation's healthcare sector and are seeking greener pastures abroad. Minister Dayal Singh has also been unable to meet the staffing quota of our hospitals across our 4 regional health authorities in Trinidad. Tobago is the only regional health authority that has met its staff figures, and that is because it falls under the authority of the Tobago House of Assembly. This was most apparent during the pandemic, where one nurse had to do the job of 2 or 3. Our nation's shortcomings were highlighted in the 2020 State of the World Nursing Report, which analyzes data from 191 countries, including ours. For countries such as Trinidad and Tobago that are unable to retain their nurses, the report advised that we should consider improving salaries and working conditions and creating professional development opportunities and allowing nurses to train to their full scope and education and training. Minister Dayal Singh has spent billions during COVID on questionable measures such as step up and step down facilities. Do you know that in the United States and in Canada, they never use that policy of step up and step down facilities? We also had a threat of $250,000 if you broke quarantine, right? The PNM put that in place. They forced sick people into dilapidated and cockroach-infested buildings to pay massive rents to God only knows who. It was a feeding frenzy, friends and family, while we were all told to shelter in place. My leader, my political leader, when she's Prime Minister, will do a comprehensive audit into the spending during COVID-19, and someone will have to account. Professor Simongal and his team produced an independent account of the situation that we faced during the COVID-19 surge, and they highlighted the lack of nursing personnel in our nation's hospitals. Our nurses were under extreme pressure because of staff shortages. In addition, nurses had to carry out duties outside of their regular functions. Many complained of overwork, almost to the point of exhaustion, and that the workload was severe and took a toll mentally, physically, and psychologically. Privacy and security was also a concern, and many complained of feeling unsafe in their own workplace. Nurses also complained of having to work long hours in PPE, often without a break and unable to go to the bathroom. They also reported that they had to lift patients, obese patients, because there were a lack of attendants. There was one ICU nurse for 6 ventilated patients and 1 ward nurse for up to 30 patients. And these numbers, these ratios, are unheard of in most countries. Minister Dayal Singh did not support our nurses during the pandemic. And the disrespect continues because nurses, many nurses, are only given short-term contracts and they are unable to access loans to buy houses and cars and whatnot. These short-term contracts create great uncertainty and depress the morale of the nurses who are exposing themselves to the greatest risk. There are over 3,400 nurses working on temporary employment in our nation's hospitals and health centers. And this is unique to the nursing profession. Those in the Ministry of National Security, the police service, the members of the Defense Force, the Coast Guard, the Fire Service, they are not manned by such a high percentage of persons on contract labor. Why has Minister Dayal Singh treated our nurses with such disrespect? They are unable to get gratuity payments as well as a pension. As much as 40% of our nurses work under these conditions. Truly third world country conditions. My leader worked to fix these issues. The Academy of Nursing and Allied Health was built by the partnership government in 2013 under the leadership of Kamla Prasad Bisesa. It cost $42 million to construct and was the country's first public facility dedicated exclusively to the training of nurses, building human capacity and people-centered development. My friends, after Dayal Singh has ignored the Simongal report for over 1 year, the Ministry of Health is now seeking to recruit an independent consultant to do a new report. Professor Simongal and his team told the nation of staff shortages and staff burnout. A total of 16 recommendations were made to Minister Dayal Singh and his team, including data management systems and electronic medical records. None of that has been done to date. And perhaps this government wants a second opinion to sanitize its failures during the COVID-19 response. And speaking of failures, the contagious hand, foot, and mouth disease is now spreading in the Guayco Presbyterian Primary School as well as the Caranas Primary School. This was confirmed by Minister of Education, Dr. Nayan Gapsti Dolly, and President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Martin Lumking. And the transmission of this virus is very alarming. Reason being, it's taking place days before the SCA examination. Students are at risk of being in quarantine when the examination is taking place. The Ministry of Education must make every effort to join with the Ministry of Health to ensure that there is not a much more serious outbreak in our nation's schools. There must be a vigorous public health education campaign to sensitize students that the disease spreads easily through coughing and sneezing and by touching surfaces. Quarantined students must be given every opportunity to sit the SCA examination. I'm calling on the Minister of Education to state what steps are being taken to support those students in quarantine and scheduled to write the SCA in a week's time. As well as I would like to wish all SCA students good luck in their coming examination. Very quickly, my friends, in the past 7 years, there has been an unending proliferation of serious crime in Caranese, from murders to drive-by assassinations, to home invasions, to carjackings, to extortion, to drug dealings, and so much more. Corpses are being dumped in our watercourses. The Caroni East River and its tributaries are being used to transport drugs, guns, and to facilitate human trafficking. Drug dealing has penetrated our communities. Our businesses are now being forced to pay protection money. They are given an option, silver or lead. Pay with silver or collect lead. All this under the watch of the dynamic duo of Prime Minister Keith Rowley and Minister Hines. I have made extensive representations on your behalf, both inside and outside of Parliament, on gang warfare and serious crime in Caronies. I again make the call for police posts in Kelly Village, and this is needed given the escalation of gang warfare in this area and the easy accessibility of high-powered weapons that are a danger to us all. We need more police patrols, and we call for the return of the community comfort patrols and the assignment of additional vehicles to the police stations in Caroni, Cunupia, and Las Lomas. And where are the CCTV cameras? Why are criminals being allowed to operate without interference in broad daylight? We will never be safe under this Rowley administration. I would like to publicly thank the TTPS for hosting a Central Division Town meeting that was held at the St. David RC Primary School, and we here in Caronies fully support our police service and we thank them for their service to our country. I wish to remind you all that the quality of our lives was much better under the administration of Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Those times will return and they are not far away. We are in the final countdown. We owe it to ourselves, our families, our children and our grandchildren to remove this Rowley administration from office. Long live our great party, long live our political leader, long live you all. Thank you very much.
PP Plus, solid everywhere.
Thank you very much, thank you. Good evening, UNC family and friends. Good evening, St. Helena. And to the team from Caroni East, including MP Dr. Rishi, thank you for hosting us tonight. Team Caroni East and MP Dr. Rishi. To my colleagues who are here, and there's several brilliant speakers before me, thank you so much. I was very interested on something that Khadija said, so remind me, Khadija, to reference your point in a moment about the roads company. But before I go there, I want to say congratulations to all of you. And you know, we have been putting the arms of the party in place. We did our full internal national executive elections last year. Then we moved to have the constituency elections. You all remember that? You have a new executive here. I hope they're working as well as the last one, and even better than the last one, I would hope. And then we moved to have our National Congress, which was a great success. Thanks to all of you came. And we still have to put in place our youth arm and our women's arm. Tonight I want to announce the chairman of the United National Congress Youth Arm has been nominated unopposed, and therefore the new chairman of our UNC Youth Arm will be Daniel Rashid. Daniel, where are you? Daniel Rashid, please give him a round of applause. And there's some other young people we would join him to form that executive. We'll put the full executive in place shortly. I'm also proud to announce that the UNC new headquarters, the refurbishment has been completed this week, final touches this week, and our headquarters will be ready in time to celebrate the anniversary of our great party, the UNC. So I just share this news with you. You would have seen Team UNC continues to work for you, continue to work with you. This week, I'm sure many of you would have seen, and if you did not, please go look for it. You would have seen the UNC on the road to victory. They hit the ground I want to congratulate DPL John, Senators Roberts, Senator Napkid, Senator Damien, Joseph Tony, your own councillor Rampasad here, Ryan, MP Rambali, and many others who hit the road last weekend, and they plan to hit the road again, because why? We are on the road to victory. Will you join us? Are you ready for victory? So let us continue that work. Let me thank Chairman Awong, of course, joining us here tonight as the chairman for this region, the other councillors who are here, all the UNC family, and my MPs and senators. Now, before I go further, you know, we pay respect to those who respect us, not those who cuss us and then want us to respect them. So we respect our elders. I want to give greatest respect to my sister, Archbishop Barbara Burke, and ask her to please join me for a moment. Chairman Awong will help her. Yes. As we approach the Baptist Day, Khadija spoke about it. As you know, Archbishop Burke has been a great warrior and fighter for that group. So I ask her to join me and to bring us some greetings as we approach a spiritual Shouter Baptist Day.
I must say greetings from God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. And after Almighty God is my political leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa. To you, my brothers and sisters, you all may not see me very often because you hear the crack of the guns morning, noon, and night in my area. And I don't have my colleagues that I had before to come out in the night. Many of them COVID take them, and many of them die naturally. But whenever I can come, I'll be here. May God richly bless this party. I want to thank you all because no one had cared for us as Shouter Baptists, a group that went through great trials and great tribulations. Our foreparents was placed into prison just for talking or speaking the word of God. And when I decided to ask for a holiday for my foreparents, I met great opposition. But my beloved political leader gave me a listening ears. I remember clearly when I was placed into the parliament, we used to sit side by side. And I used to tell her, it's in the Senate, and I telling her our problems. The Honorable Basde Pandey, his first act, he granted the Shouter Baptist a national holiday, which we celebrate on the 30th of March. I want to say thanks to the United National Congress. Today, we had a school. The Honorable...
The land, I gave you the land before that.
Yes, we had the land. The Honorable political leader made up our deed. So today we have a deed for our property in Maloney. She also built a primary school for us by the name of St. Barbara Spiritual Shouter Baptist Primary School. She didn't want no abbreviation. The kindergarten was built by the Honorable Basde Pandey, but they vandalized it. You know why? The government came into office and they refused to build a walkover. The Honorable sister of mine here built us the walkover. So we have the early child care and the primary school. May God richly bless this political party. I say it with no hindrance, with no doubt in my mind. I know God will let the United National Congress reign again. God bless the United Congress. God bless the United Congress. God bless the United Congress. And I want to thank you.
Thank you very much, Mother Archbishop. Please give her a round of applause for her blessings. Powerful, powerful sisterhood. Thank you so much for standing with us. You know, people forget. Sometimes we conveniently forget. Sometimes we genuinely forget. But we have short memories. Sometimes, not all the time. And then when to hear my sister talk of the things that we did for the Baptist, spiritual Baptists, I'm so proud. We didn't do just for the spiritual Baptists, we did for everyone in Trinidad and Tobago. Now I have tonight, I said I'll mention Khadijah's point, which is the secondary roads company that was put under the Ministry of Local Government, promised, and what is it, Khadijah? 8 months later, not one road. And you pick up this company and you drop it in another ministry. The question is why? Now, when the company was announced, in our caucuses, we took decisions that all our corporations should write to the local government minister listing the roads, the local roads, the local government roads that should be put forward to be repaired. Or as we say, not one has been repaired and they moved it. I am told that Faris had contractors. This is what I wanted to share with you, Khadijah. Yes, he had contractors measuring road and roadways and doing estimates, and he was ready to hit the ground, and they took it away from him. Why? And I think Khadijah has raised the right questions. This is that this money is now going to be funneled into Balishe House, the Sashvan and Balishe House. So we'll watch those developments. As I say, they will have to account for that money one day. One day they will have to explain where they got that $100 million, because you couldn't get that from Raffer. No sensible person here will believe you will raise $100 million and from a raffle. Who's going to believe that? That massive structure there, you will have to answer, because God don't sleep, I tell you. He only wears pajamas. So that will come to light. I wanted to share that point with you. But there are much more serious issues, or equally serious issues, happening in our country today. And I'm going to be a bit serious with you tonight. Sometimes I know we make the jokes and we have fun together, and we still have fun together. But there are too many dangerous things happening in our country. And so I have a duty, a constitutional duty, a moral duty, a humanitarian duty to raise these issues here with you all tonight. First of all, I condemn in the most strongest terms possible. I was trying to look for a word more than strong, you know? More stronger. As Trudy would say, more stronger. I condemn wholeheartedly, in every way, the thuggish, the gangster-like attacks on DPP Roger Gaspard. And the high officers of this land, they're operating like thugs, like gangsters. First of all, we had the Wajang himself, Rowley. Trump and follow suit, Limo AG. And I am so distressed to see over the weekend that the high office of the Chief Justice of Trinidad and Tobago jumping into that fray down in the Gael. Why? Why are you engaging in that battle down in the Gael? You know, Roger Gaspard has only one boss. Yes, he has, all of us are his bosses, but you know his real boss in law? He has only one boss, and that is the Chief Justice of Trinidad and Tobago. Why would a Chief Justice jump in the Gael on the political fray on the ground in a 10-page open public statement? Why you didn't call in the man and say, DPP, you have a constitutional office. I have a constitutional office. We appointed you, the JLSC appointed you. Hello, you have some problems? Let's talk. Why issue a 10-page document out in the public domain and all over the social media. Why? Two big men, why? Why now? Isn't that an important question too? This is not the first time the DPP has said that he has a staff shortage. Saddam, is not true. It's not the first time. And anybody will know the shortage is there. When we were last in office, we approved 129 lawyers for his department. I approved it as head of the cabinet, together with my cabinet. And that was then in 2014. Can you imagine the situation now? That 129 will still have to be topped up. Why did the Chief Justice, I'm asking, and I asked him to explain, why now? If since 2014 that department was understaffed, 6-7 years later, why you now coming to explain all these things? Why? Did somebody tell you to do it? Is it payback time, Chief Justice? Is it Trump and follow suit? That Rowley said it, Amos said it, and you now jump in with two of them to back them up, Trump and follow suit? Why are you doing that? And that to me is a very important question. But you see, the PNM has a history of compromising, undermining independent institutions. If they cannot control these institutions, or they feel they cannot control them, what do? Mash them up, lick you down, run them out. Exactly, that's what they do. And they will destroy persons. So in the same way, look what happened today. Great big news in town. Rowley has sworn in his puppet president today. Puppet president. So every institution he wants total control of. That has been their history, their playbook. I mentioned to you in a previous meeting, that is their playbook. If they cannot strangle you, if they can't pull your string, get out, go. And is that what now they are ganging up on this DPP? Why? I asked that question, why? The independent institutions of the state have always been subverted to the extent that the PNM publicly and boldly declared on a platform. Sister Barbara will remember it, and many of you will remember when a PNM minister stand up on a platform and he say, all are we thief. Proud to stand up on a platform to say all in the PNM thief, all are we thief. And anything happened with them? They continue. But was that investigated? Was anybody ever investigated and hung it out of government by anybody else? Look at all years from O'Halloran down the road in the history of corruption of the PNM, and not one PNM get caught up in that. I want to remind you, Roger Gaspard is a decent, honorable, independent DPP. And so Rowley publicly attacked this man about some building. I told you last week, Gaspard talked about, look, I have shortage of staff. Rowley going to talk about building. Well, who owns that building? Is it some friend of Faris Alwari, who was an AG when this building was being procured and so on? Who owns it? So I condemn, as I say, this attack on a man who is honorable, decent, hardworking, independent DPP. And you see, Rowley doesn't want those people. As I said, he wants puppets that he can pull strings. So when it is, Gaspard raised the issue about the staff shortage. Rowley went on the platform, never talked about that, but he got his other puppet to come out and talk about that over the weekend. I'll come back to him in a moment. Not leaving him alone. If it's war you want, we will fight for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We will fight. And the last time anybody talked about a high judicial officer, the fella ended up dead, Do you all know that? The last time anybody talked about that high judicial officer, the man became a refugee in England. You all remember that? So if you want to condemn people, you must be careful when you live in a glass house. Don't pelt stones. Don't pelt stones. I am not afraid of any of you. I have said I'll meet you anywhere. Inside the parliament, outside the parliament, and on the pavement too. We'll take you on the pavement. We'll take you on. Because if we do not do it, the other speakers have mentioned it. The UNC now, and we'll take them in the courthouse as well. Thank you, Deputy Leader. Because if we do not do it, there will not be a man left to stand up against this dictator regime. Huh? Right now, the only thing standing between the freedoms and rights of people in this country and the wicked, corrupt dictator, Rowley PNM government is the United National Congress, is the UNC. And that is why I am not afraid, we on this platform, in and out, we are not afraid to raise the serious issues. You all have to understand, you know, because for too long we have stood quietly and done and said nothing. They say, okay, now the UNC is tit for tat and back for back. Well, yes, if you come at me, I will come back for you. I will fight you. If you come against the people of this country, we will stand for them. You cannot steamroller again your dictatorship way. So tonight I want to say more on these matters. Up to now, Rowley raised about the building, DPP's accommodation. And up to now, nobody in government can say whether they completed the work recommended by the experts to have a secure DPP building in Port of Spain. No one has told us, have they completed the recommendations made? And they were not made by me or you or Rowley or the Chief Justice. They were made by the special branch. They were made by, I told you this man has trouble with the special branch, so the recommendations have been made by the special branch. They are the experts. And so Rowley must tell the country the truth. Is it true that there are multiple, not one special branch report, there are multiple special branch reports that have said the building is not up to security standards? The police special branch, Earl, madam, please come out and tell us. Are there multiple reports about the security and safety of the DPP's office? That is the issue. How much money you pay or you didn't pay, that is your deal that was cut with whenever, to pay rent for the building. Huh? That's your negotiations. But tell us how many special branch report says this office, this place, this space is not safe. Remember, prosecutor was murdered in this country, you know, a senior counsel prosecutor was murdered. She was pursuing high-profile cases. You all remember that. God rest her soul, a brilliant lawyer she was. She was murdered. Others in the DPP's offices, they've been threatened and harassed. So security is a key issue when you are prosecuting criminals. So that's one issue there. Has the work that was recommended to make the building secure, have you completed that work? Don't come and tell us what money you paid and they want what? Bulletproof glass and want wall. They don't want that. Those are the things that have been recommended as needed for their safety and their security. Why is it the lawyers and the DPP's office are leaving? Is it because they feel... Saddam, you used to work in that office. You could probably tell us a little more. You applied twice. Yes. Well, I know Saddam actually worked there and maybe knows some more of what happens there. But maybe they are not safe. They don't feel secure. They're overworked, overloaded. And so that issue of the building, how many reports? If the special branch police are saying it is a danger, why then blame the DPP? Again, more immortal than the pestilence. We had to watch this thing, you know. How all this wasn't happening before, how it now happening. After the DPP discontinued high-profile cases against Ramdeen and Ram Logan, discontinued the cases against Basde Pandey, Carlos John, and the others in the Piaco 3 matter, he said, look, these matters cannot go forward. All of a sudden, this DPP is the worst thing on earth. Nobody remembers when the DPP discontinued the case against Minister Franklin Khan, you know. Nobody remembers that. Nobody's put a squeak Yeah, he was a very good boy then. Discontinued the case against PNM Minister, the late Franklin Khan. May he rest in peace as well. Remember, he was some case of corruption and bribery with that minister. And he was charged, and Eric Williams, they were charged. You may remember. And the case went on, and then the DPP discontinued. Not a squeak. I guess they were all celebrating and clapping at that point in time. When the same DPP, applying similar standards, if not the same standards, says we cannot pursue these cases against Ramdeen Ramlogan, and we cannot continue these cases against the Piako accused in Piako 3, that case. Everybody vexed. The DPP is now, as I say, worse than anything coming out of hell. So there's a, I say, they say we have conspiracy theories, but you really have to wonder if there's a whole conspiracy to run the DPP out of office. Really have to wonder. Because when you do that, then you can get whoever is your puppet DPP, whoever that may be, will become. You give the instructions. Come and charge Arnold Roberts. Come and charge this one, charge that one, charge the next one. And you'll get them to follow your bidding as was done in the past. So are you out for this DPP? If Gaspard is being so unreasonable in not wanting to move into the building, then make public what was recommended by the branch. What did they want? What did it say was needed? Tell us what it was, if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and how much of it has been done. Tell us about it. And so, I say, are there plans afoot to smear and hang the DPP out of office? Now, lying that way, smearing, attacking the DPP about him not moving, but you're not telling the country your government is renting unsuitable buildings from your friends and your family and your financiers. DPP Gaspard has clearly upset the political directorate, and I have no doubt that there may well be a campaign to smear and slander this man, as they've done with anybody else they could not control. That is the way of the rowdy PNM. Look out soon. Don't be surprised if suddenly you see all kind of stories start to appear about Gaspard, because that's how they work. They get their trolls to go out there on the social media to slander people. Don't be surprised they start to do that with the DPP because, as I say, cannot control him. Cannot control him. They can leak rumors and lies about him through their bloggers, through their fake profiles. Don't be surprised. And then the Guardian media will pick up these smears and turn them into mainstream, front page, back page, middle page stories from lies and rumors they get on social media. That's how they coordinate their campaign, disinformation, the same way they did with Emailgate we talked to you about. So there is this orchestrated and coordinated attack on the DPP. It is clear that the CJ is being protected by Rowley. It is clear that Rowley is being protected by the Chief Justice. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. The PNM cannot distort and pervert our democracy. We have already called out the Prime Minister and the AG, so now I say, let's talk about the Honorable Chief Justice. And I have never once, in my long legal and other careers, never once had cause to call out a Chief Justice of Trinidad and Tobago, because I respect that office. But when you get into a place where you have no business being, then we have to call you out. Then you have to answer. So here we go. We cannot let the Chief Justice use his office to get away with this perversion in the attack against the DPP. Mr. Archie followed an attack by the incompetent, the worst AG, failed AG. He came on first. So the two politicians, right, they're politicians, they can handle that. Then Mr. Archie came forward. Limo accused the DPP's officer of underperforming. And then Archie issued, as I say, this 10-page statement. His release, it contains many statements which are presumptuous and are totally out of order, out of place from the office of the Chief Justice. If Cabinet approve a staff complement of 125, then who is the Chief Justice? Who is the Chief Justice? Not the man with that office. Who is that office to question the need for the number of staff recommended by the Cabinet? And the Cabinet did that recommendation based on the reports we would have got from the office of the DPP. So, is the Chief Justice aware of the workload of the DPP's lawyers? You would think the answer is yes. But then when you read his statement, it is clear he doesn't understand what they do or what they must do on a daily basis. Doesn't understand. What he said that the number of staff there, he's thinking in terms of using the number of high court judges. But this man forget, you have district courts, used to call them magistrates courts, all over Trinidad and Tobago. Saddam, you could tell me offhand, Brian, any of you lawyers, how many? Oh, you know as many. Over 38? 13. District courts, magistrates courts. So in addition to the high courts, and those magistrates courts, we call it magistrate court. They don't have one court in those courts. So if you have 13 districts, you will have within each one several courts, sometimes in the same building. So we talk about many more courts where these DPP lawyers have to go. Many courts throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you. So you cannot measure how many lawyers you need for the DPP by just the high court number of high court judges. No. It has to be spread. In addition, what do those lawyers do? They have to give advice. They have to draft indictments. They have to review proceedings. They have to appeal in complex appeals. They have to prosecute matters in the magistrates' courts, as I say, district courts all over TNT. So it is out of order to say the amount of staff you need is based on the number of high court judges. Nonsense. Total nonsense. But let's discredit this DPP. Let's get this DPP. That's the latest move by the PLM. And next week, Wednesday, I'm not surprised. They've put Parliament for Wednesday. They're going to come with some bill called whistleblower legislation. You know, they brought it once before and they didn't take it through because it's such a flawed piece of law. It is such an unconstitutional piece of law that will take away people's rights. But they're coming with it. And I'm thinking, why you suddenly bring back this piece of legislation? You know why? It's to come back to distract the public away from serious business. They'll come and call some UNC name and say they're UNC thief and call somebody, like what they did when Rodney asked a question and knocked down Rodney with the most vile language they could use. So Wednesday, don't be surprised they come to call some UNC and slander some UNC name again under the pretense of debating whistleblower. But we're ready for them. We ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? We have to be ready. We have to be ready because these fellas are so slippery. They could slip under any crease in any door to get away with their nefarious actions of slandering people, defaming people. So I continue. So the numbers I'm saying, Mr. Archie, Mr. Chief Justice, cannot be based on the number of high court judges. And don't forget, as I said, you have the appeal court too. So more courts than just the high court number of judges. You can't put the two together at all. So everything raised by C.J. Archie in his public statement, as I said, could have been addressed privately. Not today. Not at this 11th hour. Not after Rowley and Limo call out Mr. Gaspard. Not today. This thing could have been festering for time. Should have been done where? Like two big men in two high offices of the land sit down and talk. Why did you feel it necessary? I come back to the point that you had to go and take this action in the public domain. Why? Why? And I come again, is it because Rowley refused to have the tribunal set up to investigate your conduct and now you're paying him back by saying, yes, slap up Gaspard, let him go, run him out. Are you now payback time? Tell us. Because you could have said it before, you know. Mr. Chief Justice, this thing festering for 7 years about the staffing. And it's only when Rowley and Amo come out, jump in the battle, jump down on the ground, slapping up Gaspard, Archie say, you see, when a man down on the ground, what does say, Damian? When you see a man down on the ground, you kick him. You kick him down. That's what you've done. That is what you've done. Now, I had a lot more to say about Chief Justice Archie. JJ, I'll leave out those pieces tonight. But I have them. Not tonight. I have them here. Look what I did with it. Came with it. I folded it up and I said, the next time, if you do not tell us why, Mr. CJ, you came out this time to attack the DPP, then we'll come for you. I have another time to speak. God willing, there will be another time to speak. Definitely. See, it's all here. Archie's discreditable conduct. Yeah, 1 week. 1 week to go. We have 1 week. It's all here. And well documented with references. This is not make-up stuff, you know. Everything done here has a reference. You know, as a good lawyer, Brian and Saddam and the other lawyers in the crowd, Amit, you know that. Rishi, you know that. You have to put your references to support your statement. So we'll talk about that conduct, a questionable, discreditable conduct, and why were those allegations made then and up to now never investigated. As I said, one man who spoke about a high judicial officer was killed. One man who also raised questions about his high judicial officer, poor fellow, he up in the cold as a refugee in England. So more to come on that. Let's move on. So does Rowley have Archie on a short leash? And that's why I said to you before, if the Chief Justice had these concerns, why you come out with them now? And this reminds me of so many things, but I'll skip, as I say, we'll save him for another time. But I want you to remember how the Mr. Pandey's case went before the Privy Council recently, where the Privy Council ruled that Chief Magistrate Sherburne McNichols was hopelessly compromised. The PNM police were quick to charge CJ Sat Sharma, and McNichols was the prosecution's star witness. When the case collapsed because McNichols refused to testify, not a dog barked, the word before that, but let's just say not a dog barked. Not one barked, not a word. McNichols was never charged with misconduct in public office after he brought down a sitting Chief Justice, slandered the man's name. Remember what I said? Smeared his name. And when time to come in the courthouse and give evidence of what you said, all the things you said about that Chief Justice, he got cold feet. Remember, Sat Sharma was suspended after the PNM triggered the Lord Mustill Tribunal to inquire into allegations made by McNichols about Sat Sharma. That McNichols was the same man who was trying Pandey, and while he was buying land, remember this man? He was buying and selling land with money he didn't have that people give him from the political directorate at the time he was judging the case against Basir Pandey. He was hopelessly compromised, and today we say, is the Chief Justice hopelessly compromised as well? Compare this way, how they hounded out Sat Sharma with the Mustill inquiry, and none was called to inquire into the conduct of the present Chief Justice. As I say, we'll come back another day. So why would Rowley want to lick down Gaspard? I said some of it before. Could be because Gaspard exercised his discretion under the law according to our Constitution in these high-profile matters. Or could there be more in the mortar, as we say, that Rowley is fearful of Gaspard? I want to posit tonight and share with you. I believe that the government, the Rowley government, is very fearful of the Vincent Nelson scandal. The Vincent Nelson scandal. And public criticism of the DPP comes on the heels of ending that case, Ramloga and Ramdeen cases, okay, and the matter against the Pandays. These were always political persecutions, but when this Nelson Gate has come out, we see that Rowley could be fearful of Gaspard because of what Nelson is saying. The Rowley government went behind the back of DPP Gaspard and engaged in witness tampering. I call on the Commissioner of Police to investigate witness tampering on the part of Faris Alwari and the government. If what Nelson is telling us transpired, you can get no better a case for witness tampering than what they did to induce Nelson to give evidence to prosecute and persecute Ramlogan and Ramdeen. Rowley is so fearful, they offered inducements to Nelson. DPP didn't know nothing about that. DPP said he didn't know nothing. They went behind the back of the DPP to offer this man inducements. And I'll tell you, there was a newspaper over the weekend, but I'll share it with you tonight, what they promised Mr. Nelson to buy his testimony against Ramdeen and Ramlogan. All about money. The TTPS does not see any of this. They do not think it warrants an investigation. And you have to say, you have to wonder. Once it's a UNC, they're out for you. But when it's one of their own, there's a blind eye that is turned. And it must stop happening. Crime is crime. White color, blue color, any color, crime is crime is crime. And those who do the crime must do the time. You have to do the time when you do the crime. The now infamous Nelson matter, again in the forefront. We have learned that convicted Counsel Vincent Nelson wrote to the DPP asking the DPP to take steps to have the conviction against him, Nelson, set aside. And why? He said it's because they acted outside of the law and offered him all these bribes, what you call inducements, to get him to do it. There were 11 promises, he says. They made 11 promises to him. Of course, they didn't keep one. And Faris lost his work, I think. Faris was moved out of the AG's office because of this indemnity thing he signed. Big lawyer like that, big AG like that. And what? I feel he gets it free, Gil. We always say, when you're dunce, you're dunce. He walked straight into that. Signed this agreement. Big lawyer. And what is so interesting and ironic, you know, when Nelson sued them in the court about all the promises and things they made in the indemnity, I am told the same lawyers who prepared that indemnity document is the same lawyers now defending the DPP and saying that agreement was a bad agreement. Only in Trinidad. Only in Trinidad. The same lawyers who write up the indemnity and then Nelson come and sue and want them to, yes, this is a good indemnity agreement. All the things you promised, please give it to me. The same lawyers who wrote the agreement, they are now saying, no, 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 bad, contrary to law. What were the 11 promises they made to Mr. Nelson? To buy, to induce, to witness tamper, to give evidence against Ramdeen and Ramlogan. Promise 1, that on October 5, 2017, former AG Faris Alwari informed Nelson's former attorney Kewal Singh, remember him? He was on the police service. Oh yes, and he bought the Porsche. A Porsche had never got registered for years. That's the guy. So Nelson's lawyer, then, Roger Kewal Singh, they said that if Nelson, this is the promise, Nelson, if you gave a notarized statement against Anand Ramlogal and Gerard Ramlin, then he, Faris, would make sure that Nelson was paid for the work he did for the government. So they were withholding payments to Nelson. He said, boy, if you sign this thing and say Anand and Ramdeen, them is two thief, corrupt and whatever, bad things about them, we will pay you the money that the government owes you. Your own money, you know. Promise 1. This period, the payment was during 2010 to 13 and February, December 2018. He got payments and so on. And he sued. When we lost the government, he sued for payments for work he had done. And he had won a certain part of it, so I think that it went up to, he had to go to appeal. Had won. And then Faris got to somebody and tell him, look, don't worry, we will pay you the money. All you have to do is come and Bad talk, Ram Logan and Ram Dean. And we will pay you. And so said, they did pay him about 10 million after that. Promise 2. The second alleged promise was that his notarized statement would only be shown to the DPP and the Anti-Corruption Bureau, but not any criminal investigatory or prosecuting body outside TT. So we will not show anybody up in the United Kingdom and so on. But somebody leak it to the United Kingdom and the fella get in trouble up there. We stop him, we can't practice law. What is it? Thief from thief does make God laugh. Laugh, real laugh. So they had promised him, we're not going to give anybody, just the DPP and anti-corruption. And Nelson gave that statement on October 26, 2017. He provided all kinds of documents for the indemnity that Faris, promised to pay. Promise 3. So first one, we're going to pay you your money, boy. Hold straight, just sign against Anand and Ramney. 2, we wouldn't tell the people of the United Kingdom where you are practicing, not telling nobody. 3, it was alleged that Faris undertook, and I'm quoting, as part of the indemnity agreement, to recommend to the DPP that no criminal proceedings will commence against Nelson. See that? Faris promising he will tell the DPP no criminal proceedings. Well, of course, that promise was broken too, because they charged Nelson in the court, and up to now, Nelson is owing the court fines for that charge, $2.2 million. Promise 3. Promise 4. The DPP was told that the former AG recommended to him many times he should not prosecute Nelson. Okay? And because of the promises Faris made, he would not be charged, he would not be fined. Okay. Promise 5 to 9. These promises related to the indemnity agreement. Nelson's statement, it said that the TT government would not give the UK's crime agency the document and so on. They promised further they will get a presidential pardon for Nelson. Well, hello, that might very well happen now, because you have a puppet president sitting down in president's house. They promised to get a presidential pardon. But this Nelson must really feel Faris is gone. That Faris would have make sure he's not prosecuted. Faris will get him all the millions and pay him. That Faris will get him a what? Presidential pardon. These were promises that any man would want. And remember the time, with due respect to him, King's Counsel Mr. Nelson was suffering from cancer. And he badly needed money to get treatment for his disease. He has had, I'm happy for him, God bless him. After all of this happened, he got better. What do you call it? A remission, I think it's called. Look, remission. So he got better, and then he said, listen, the man now looking for his money, looking for his indemnities, he's looking for his property. At that time, he was weak, and he wanted the money the government owed him, so he went along. So these promises here, get a presidential pardon. He also said, after he was sentenced, that he would receive full monetary compensation. In other words, whatever they charge him, he's going to get it back. They will pay him that money too. Promise 10 and 11, they promised that to Nelson, his lawyer, agreeing to pay him, which came after he threatened not to come to TT. Remember, he said, I'm not coming. Unless all you pay with this money, not coming to give evidence. All of this would have remained secret if it were not for DPP Roger Gaspar. Again, I'm saying another reason they want to lick down DPP Gaspar. This is why they want to get rid of him. Everything else about building and staffing and all these other stories, red herrings. This has nothing to do with building and staffing only. They want him out because they're afraid of being charged for what? Witness tampering, corruption, misbehavior in public office by Faris and the Rowley government. That is what is a serious threat here to them, based on their behavior of these million promises they have made to Mr. Nelson. And Nelson coming, as they say, for his pound of flesh. He has written to the DPP and he's sued in the High Court. When the DPP discontinued these cases, because he said prosecution witnesses and so on, unreliable. I made the point, nobody attacked them for the Franklin Khan discontinuation. So in that case, Ram Logan and Ramdeen, when the DPP says Vincent Nelson is not a reliable and credible witness because of all these inducements, some people call it bribe, bribe, buyout, payout, whatever, witness tampering and so on, everybody vexed about it. So look, if you are UNC, you do not enjoy the presumption of innocence because the PNM law is different strokes for different strokes, my friends. So while we are equal in the eyes of the law, the PNM people are above the law and the manner in which they operate. So what is the plan if Gaspard is removed? People are suggesting it might be the deputy DPP who will become DPP and so on. We don't even know that. What we do know, it will be a puppet DPP that they want to put in place. And so I call on the Commissioner of Police to investigate these serious allegations of witness tampering, misconduct in public office. Boy, if it was a UNC man, all know they're searching the man's house, you know. All know they're under your bed, in your laptop, in your cell phone, they want everything. Investigate these allegations of that indemnity agreement. A copy signed, you could get it. I had placed it in the public domain years ago. People didn't take it on then. But with each passing day, this is a serious indictment against Faris Alwari and the Rowley PNM. Believe me. So, Madam Christopher, God will help you when you help yourself. So please investigate these serious allegations now. They want a dictatorship state, you're not going to get it. I call on Madam Christopher as well to investigate that $100 million Balji house. Where is that money coming from? I mentioned it before. Please investigate. I close finally by thanking you all for coming out here tonight in your numbers. We will be, I didn't intend to speak so long, but God is good all the time. Madam Archbishop Burke, thank you for your blessings here tonight. And for the rest of you, enjoy the rest of your week. And we shall meet again. God bless you and thank you very much.